Okay, so we are doing the community roundtable for the Sacred Sasquatch Symposium.
Are you recording?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Christina, I've heard you talk about, and you said there was one near me around Vancouver or whatever. You talked about City of Lights or City of Light.
Yeah.
What is the City of Light?
Cities of lights. So this is where nodes of consciousness, when enough collective people reach a certain threshold of frequency and they hold a collective, and it creates like a light body, but on a city level of light. And then so it forms over the geographic location. Then as the constructs and the physical reflect that energy, then the city of light gets anchored within physical form. So Vancouver is one. I'm also getting information that Santa Fe is next, which is one of the reasons why I was called there spontaneously. And then there's another one coming up somewhere in the Ozarks, the one that I just drove through. And Kelly and I had a brief conversation about things stirring in that area. So they happen when another. Yeah, so they happen when
going to say it's a very
reaches.
sacred space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So cities of light, they're I would say they're mobile right now. Everything's moving around because everybody's relocating to places that are more of a resonant match for them. So there's going to be more coming onto the radar, but those are the main in the U.S. anyway, or well, in the North American continent anyway, where I see them happening. But perhaps Kelly or Shakara might have some information on some cities of lights that they don't know about getting birthed at this time.
I almost feel like every place that I go to is, or I'm called to different areas that I may not have any knowledge in, but sometimes we'll just search a map, or I'm guided to find something online and I know that it's a place that I've been before, even though I haven't been there. You could just recognize it and feel the energy. And then once you're there, it's totally different. We just recently took a trip to the desert down to New Mexico. So driving from Washington to New Mexico and back. And I feel like so many different places that we stopped at was, what could be considered a city of light. Certainly one of those was Chaco Canyon. And then we stopped at the Arches National Park in Moab as well too. And that place has an incredible energy. We could feel the ancestors all around. And even though it's not a forested area like where we live here in Washington, where, we know the Sasquatch populations are high, there it's not forested, but the Sasquatch are still just as active and felt just as strongly, even more so maybe, because it was new to me. But other, cities of light, so to speak, to name, I don't know. I don't have definitive proof. It's really more of a feeling that I have.
It seems more like it's communities of light within the cities.
Yes. It's the consciousness that is brought there at the time. It can shift, it can change.
What I'm seeing is, if I could share, is it's like nodal points. So when they talk about the ley lines and different points around the world, part of it is stuff that's getting activated underground. So there's crystalline structures, like Arkansas has those magnanimous crystals. Sedona, there's water, there's crystals. It's all being activated, but it's almost like in the same way when people are ready, they just evolve, and it's the same with cities. It's less a physical city. I've been shown, I don't know how else to explain it, like an overlay of like this could be cosmic ships coming down, over these areas and kind of creating a relationship with these areas, so to speak. They could also be, like you said, groups of conscious collectives rising. So, I mean, this is going to take a lot of different forms. They keep talking about Sedona being, one of the first ones. A lot of people have talked about it. People have written books about it. And there's a really interesting energy here because I think a lot of people are called here. At the same time, there's a lot of things that still need to kind of work out, suss out, you know. And but I think it's really, for what I'm saying is it's really the vibration of the people there. When the people are ready, they shift the vibration. It's almost like what my star guides showed me. It's almost like a Shambhala or an Avalon. I say Avalon, hovering. And what I'm seeing is they're showing us as we raise our vibration, the star energies, the cosmic, galactic, or whatever, are coming down. So this is where we're going to meet at a common point, but it's underneath the earth plus over. It's really hard to put into words, but I'm seeing lots of pictures about this, but it really is up to us. It's collective. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I want to chime in a little bit because there are ones that are under the ground that I've seen that are inverted, and like the top side hasn't quite, it's like they haven't quite met yet. So I think it's like when that meeting happens, then it's like,
yeah. But it's an attraction. It's a blender. I mean, it's interesting. Clifford's coming in, and one of the things he talked about when he, like you were talking, Kelly, about Chaco Canyon. I've never been there, but I've been there. We've all been these places, and I think that each of us are attracted to where we're supposed to do work. So it's like in our energetic field, but also codes we're supposed to upload and download. I mean, there's so much movement going on. You know, why do you go someplace and then you realize you feel like you've been there? Probably because you have, or you've seen it in dream time, or there's some bridge. But I remember asking Clifford, I had a dream a couple of years ago, and I asked him about it. You know, I asked him lots of questions, but I said, I saw these starships coming over, you know, the Hopi Zuni talk about the kivas, and they have these kivas, some are round huts, some are square buildings. And I said, I saw, the star people were showing me that these galactic ships would come over, like during the time when they have the Kachina festival or many of the things, and they actually hover over and heal the people. They send vibrational energy. And he said, actually, yeah, that's exactly what happens. So these ships, I mean, this is actually, the thing is, it's happening now. What I'm seeing, it's happening in other vibrational dimensions, but this is going to be manifest in the physical. But I think many times, I mean, I look up here, I will physically watch ships moving around. They're moving energies. And I think some of them, you know, you've seen pictures like in sci-fi movies of these huge ships hovering around. Those are City of Lights. And I think those could actually be us in the future coming back in the past up to the present. I mean, it's like time is, there's a lot of blending going on, is what I say.
So who are other people that are here? We have dear sister Melissa and David and Rita.
Yes, welcome. Rita had her hand up for a while, so I'm not even quite positive that she wanted to be here, but I know David and Melissa asked to join. So welcome and thank you. It's great to see your faces. Yeah.
Fabulous to join you. So if we're drawn to an area or to a new group, that's the group that needs our help at that time. That's where we go. That's the journey we're on.
Yeah.
I would say frequency match.
Yeah.
The frequency match, because it's not just what you can do for them, it's like how you resonate with them as a whole that magnifies it. So it's definitely a symbiotic kind of relationship. That's what's best for opening our movement.
Yeah, quite often I'll have a dream of a place beforehand. I'll dream of a place. And then I'll find out about it and realize that's the place I dreamed of. And for me, that's kind of a big sign that that's a place I need to be. And whenever I know I am visiting a new area, a new state or something, going on some kind of trip, I always prepare to do ceremony and leave offerings and things like that. And, you know, grid work, all of that, it's greatly appreciated by all the beings there and the whole planet, activating the whole grid system.
What's interesting too, I just want to share what's happening with me and a couple friends is I or they will go someplace and they're not quite sure why they're there. They're getting a message from spirit or their guides or whatever. And then we vision for each other. I mean, this has happened with a couple people, you know, Kelly, in this group in the past many times. But I have a friend in Canada, and I'm here, and she sees these pictures of things I'm supposed to do, or is seeing things I'm already doing, like going on the land and writing codes, or she had a vision of this connection with Egypt here, and that's why I'm back here, or, you know, doing healing work on people's bodies. And half of the stuff that she reveals to me is actually stuff I'm doing, which is really interesting. So we're like visioning for each other, and I'll do the same with her. I'll see a form or something, why she's there, or some work that she needs to do, some kind of task or something, and she'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what, you know. So we did this chain of emails really fast, like she was getting an image, and then it was just the story got completed very quickly, you know, in symbols, you know. And I think this is also, I'll just share one more thing if I can, when Brian was talking about those glyphs, you know, I work a lot with symbols and archetypes and glyphs and that kind of thing. And they're like, some of them are maps, some of them are systems and everything. So what I'm hearing is, you know, everything is becoming symbolic. You know, this energy as it's shifting, you know, everything is sacred geometry, everything's patterns, numbers, colors. Hale was people talking about brighter colors. This is our higher senses opening up, but it's really, really important that we start training ourselves to read the symbols, like what Clifford was saying in that video, interpreting. So everybody's going to have a different kind of understanding of vibration. But anyway, it's important to kind of be present and conscious and understand what to do with those things. Like it's going to come to you. So
I got a question. The Sasquatch will be walking amongst us soon. To be coming out, and they'll be out in the open. What other beings are we going to be experiencing? You know, like walking amongst us, like commonplace, like.
Oh, I can answer that.
I'll
Okay.
answer it to you. You go first.
Yeah, sorry, I keep. If we're in jeopardy, man, I'd be weird. Well, just yeah, right. So can you ask that a question? No, anyway. Fairies, gnomes, all these mythical creatures that we've considered were myth, they are in those unseen realms that are overlaying and meshing in with weaving into ours. So we'll start seeing nature divas more, fairies, pixies, trolls, gnomes. My dear husband, who is, you know, 3D inclined, he totally saw 3 gnomes reveal him right in front. You know, they ran right in front of him. And when we're in the woods one day, he was just like, I saw that. You know, he's like, you can't, you know. So it's just going to be there. It's just going to be right in our faces.
How about our planet?
How
about our planet? Oh, sorry. Yeah. How about our planet? Like Palladians?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
What I'm being shown is, I mean, I see them already. I see them. I'm going kind of what Christina said. I guess I got all these hertzes activated simultaneously, but I'll physically see them walking through the room. In this room, it's hard for me to sit because there's lots of energies, lots of beings here. But people, what I'm being shown is as you elevate, and it's not like a hierarchical structure. If you open from the inside out, it's almost like when they talk about the veil. Everybody has this veil of consciousness, what I'm shown, to resonate and work and function in this 3D realm. But all these dimensions exist here now. They're all here. All these guides are here. So I've gotten very, very profound dreams of the star people starting to, just like the Sasquatch ambassadors, they're starting to come through us. They're coming through these messages, our creative forms, but they're going to start to actually speak. And it's not just light language, it's expression and that kind of thing, but people will see them. But I think this will only happen when it's less about creating a safe space. Wow, this energy is really strong. When we're singing, it was sorry, this chief is like bopping me. It's less about creating a a safe space and more like this unification. But I've had very, very profound dreams of star people just walking around, just like people from other cultures. And this is actually what happened in ancient times. You know, Clifford, many other people talked about the Kachinas walking amongst men, the giants, the Sasquatch. I think that they are all going to physically embody here, and probably very soon. And those of us that are connected with the star energies, which we all are going to start manifesting. You know, everyone in this group is a star person, not a star seed. This is like your cosmic self. It's just going to come out more. And there's many other things I could say about this, but yeah, they're going to, and it's happening very soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think more and more people are going to realize they are the ET. That they are the galactic consciousness inside of a human body. Yeah. Awesome.
I'm completely new to all of this, and
Cool.
I've kind of been on this spiritual journey, and I just kind of was curious, where do you guys start? What's a very good foundation to build off of? I've been doing a lot of meditating and yoga work, but what's other building stones for this path? Does that make sense?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'll jump in on that one. So,
Yes.
Well, number one, whatever you love, whatever you absolutely love. So you have your yoga and meditation, and I assume pranayama and stuff like that. That's always really potent, right? But then after you have that kind of focusing tool, now you can start adding other things into your bandwidth, taking walks in the park, connecting with nature. Maybe there's a specific tree or area of a woods that you really love and find special. Start communicating. Start communicating and singing and sharing in that place, wherever it is that brings joy to your heart, to sit and just be so. So what that's doing, it's you are opening the door for exospecies interdimensional communications to start happening, and then boom, that's the piece. You just open the door, you'll start getting messages, and then this giving back and forth will ensue, and then you're off on cultivating your own sovereign exospecies relationship. And a little warning though, it doesn't end with just one. It usually turns into a floodgate. Yeah, it turns into a floodgate when you're really on it. So
Thank you.
If you want to connect specifically with Sasquatch, and I imagine with any high energy being, when I'm holding my cap outs that I hold or whatever, or any time I'm in the woods, if I'm thinking low vibrational thoughts, they're not coming around. But as soon as you start singing, laughing, your vibration raises, you talk about them, specifically, that's when they come around. So it's you're meeting them more on their level.
So when you're talking about Sasquatch, are you meaning like Mother Gaia, or Sasquatch, maybe I don't know who he is. I'm sorry.
Sasquatch.
Maybe I don't.
You've never heard of Sasquatch, but.
Well, yeah, but how are you using him as symbolic to this? Are you?
No, they're actual beings. I'm not using it symbolically. They will connect with you. You can have the possibility of connecting with them, and they will. If you go into the woods, for instance, and you're singing and you're laughing and you're happy, and you say, "Hello, I'm
Melissa,
and I'm open to meeting you." From the heart, from the heart, no agenda, from the heart, high vibration, sing, laugh, that's how you meet them, and they're real.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, they're wonderful. You can think of their energy almost as like guardian angels in the way that they can protect and teach, and the way that you can talk to them and ask for their protection or their guidance in different situations, and things like that. But they're also very much a physical being that you could possibly connect with out in nature. But I guess I'd also like to add, as far as diving deeper into the spiritual path and the spiritual journey, would be to practice more self-love and kindness and compassion in all aspects of your life. You know, do things that you love and that you enjoy, and stand in your own personal truth. Your truth is not the opinions of others, you know,
So stand in my truth.
yes.
Is that what you said? Okay, I'm taking notes, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, standing in your truth, in your sovereignty, and you know, like I said, doing what you love, but it's implementing a higher consciousness into every little thing. You know, like you meditate already, so you know about like being in the moment, you know, and so keep that in the forefront of always returning back to being in the moment and feeling the feelings that are there in this moment. You know, and but you don't have to dwell within those feelings. It's learning to move with the flow.
Can I?
Melissa, one thing that helped me a lot, this is Rita speaking. I don't know why my video's not up, but I'm.
Hi, Rita.
Hi, Rita.
I went to the website officialfirstcontact.com. They have a telepathy manual, and I downloaded it.
Oh, I lost you.
Being a member of the telepathy group. I've joined a telepathy group that meets actually every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. We have people from Paris that join in, met people from Hawaii. Someone from Sue Walker's hometown is actually a member of the telepathy group. And then everyone does their own practice. And it's amazing the information that just comes through when we're working together as a group. And the information comes through, but begin developing your telepathy powers, because the majority of the ET races and Sasquatch, they communicate by mind speak or telepathy, whatever you want to call it. I have talked to Sasquatch telepathically several times in the Southern California area where I am. And I've also had an interaction with, I think it was a Palladian. He didn't introduce himself, but we had a long conversation because he knew I recognized him. And I sent him back to my car where I had one of Sue Walker's portraits of one of the Sasquatch. And then he talked to that person, that Sasquatch, and they believed me that I was not going to do anything harmful.
Can I share something? Melissa, the bigger question is, what do you want to do? I think, you know, you're on a journey, you've had life experiences. It's really, there's one thing about contacting these energetic beings, whether they're entities or orbs or vibrations or star people or whatever. I think that the biggest thing is each of us have to ask, what do we want to do? And then that sort of guides your journey. So one of the things I was kind of picking up from you is just raising the vibration. Like, how do you do that? Well, there are numerous practices like Christina and other people have talked about. So you can do yoga, meditation, go out on the land. I mean, it's pretty much anything, but it really comes from you, how you want to connect with yourself, the universe, whatever. So it's a combination of things. How you tune in with these beings. One of the things I learned is not to be so curious. So a lot of people will go out and they'll say, star people, show me, you know, show me this light, show me yourself, declare yourself. It's almost like a demand for them. It's kind of like demanding your friend, like, tell you something right now, as opposed to when you come, like everybody's been talking about here, if you come with an open heart and just be present, you're gonna see that. You'll go out on the land and start, this world will reveal itself. You'll start to look at rocks and they'll shapeshift. It's like scrying. It's like tuning into this other energy. But what's happening is you're raising your vibration, and it's an endless journey, you know? So it's really, my question to you is just to ponder, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What's your purpose? So the last thing I want to share is that these things that we do in our 3D realm, we think of them as practices. We go through the motion. So you can learn Reiki, you can learn shamanic journey, you can learn vibrational things. And I think this is what I'm getting, is that each of us now have to step in to a remembering that we already know how to do that. So the things that you're attracted to, be aware of, oh, I want to learn how to sing this thing, or I want to learn this particular Tai Chi or energy. These are things that your higher self already knows how to do. It's like an awakening to you. So this is really about trusting yourself, you know, just allowing things to happen, but you have to take affirmative action. You know, what do you want to do? The bigger question is, what do you want to do in this life? How do you want to grow? How do you want to connect? And as soon as you put it out, it's like you put the thought form in the future and it comes back to you. The path will be shown, the people will be shown, the right people will come in your field. This is how you work with spirit. As far as I've been shown, and I think everybody has that similar experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the key is, I got to say this, trust yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody knows more than you do. They've just had, especially as a young person, you know, and Christina will vibe with us. I mean, all you guys, is trust yourself, and just follow your heart and listen and recalibrate it as you're going along. But it's your truth. This is exactly what Sunbo was talking about. Only you know your journey. Only you are interpreting these things, but everything's open to you. So it's really, really kind of what you want to do with your heart. Just trust yourself and you'll know exactly what to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Melissa, I would also like to offer some experience. Hi, my name is Christian. I do a lot of meditation practice too, and some things that I do you might find helpful to your own practice. First thing that I found that is the most beneficial to a meditation practice is, once you sit down in your space, let your body go limp. This literally allows your body to release the tenseness in your muscles, the stress that you're holding, and a lot of what you're thinking about will now come to the forefront, and that's good.
Yeah.
It's going to come, it comes differently for everyone. For me, it comes in visuals. And what I've been taught is, don't comment on the visuals. Instead, let your inner eyes float to the pinpoint that you're drawn to, what's noticing in that visual, and then just take in the feeling, the vibration that you're feeling as you're observing that. This is the universe communicating to you. As you do this, your way is going to open up to you, and it's going to open up in ways that only you can find, and it's going to allow you to guide in step. And as you do this, you're going to find also that your breathing becomes much slower, much more distinct, much more even. And over time, you're going to find you're taking it off the the mat, and you're taking it out into life as a 24-hour practice.
I have experienced that, being mindful about your breath and bringing yourself back into your body. It's been pretty neat. It's been a good adventure. I'm still growing, expanding my knowledge.
Always, forever.
Yeah. You will always, there's like, once you think you got something, there's like something new that comes in. You're like, oh, did not know that.
One thing just came in, this Arcturian was saying to say this, it's real important as we're making this shift, this transitional shift to kind of higher vibrations. The world may look somewhat similar, but it's really important to let go of these 3D constructs that we're thinking about, like what things look like. So for example, when I go out on the land and I talk to a tree, okay, all of this is programming that we're relearning. So a tree is supposed to stand there and not move. Well, that tree is moving all the time in different vibrations, right? I mean, everybody's experienced this, I know, on this call, but you have to blend your mind with the tree and almost become the tree, and then you start seeing different things. So it's really what I'm finding, and what I guide, clients that I talk to, and friends, and even in myself, just release these constructs of what things mean, what we've been shown, what we've been told about they're all limitations. What does it mean to think telepathically? We can all do it right now. We are doing it, but then some thought form comes in and says, you're not ready for that, or only in the movies, or
Yeah.
other masters can do it in Tibetan temples, but not you. So
Yeah.
really, really important to let go. Just let it go. There you go.
Thank you.
So there's someone else named Jenny at the bottom.
Jenny.
That's probably me.
Jenny on the block.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I hear myself coming through. I'm not in the video. I don't know why, but
Let me see. I think I have to change something here. Okay, I'm promoting you to panelist.
okay.
Woohoo, yeah. Come on up.
It might take a
There
moment.
we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Jenny also has in the bottom left, it has to say start video. She got a little icon that says start video, then you're gonna come up on the screen.
There we go. Yep. I just got the
Hey.
icon. Thank you.
There she is.
Howdy
Hello,
do.
everybody. This has
Hi,
been
Jenny.
wonderful. I don't know if this is helpful to the prior conversation, but I've had this strong inclination to spread the word. I'm a QHHT hypnotist, and my mentor and I have been experimenting with communication with the forest people, as we call them, with a lot of success. And I just wanted to throw that out there for anybody who is looking to have an experience.
This
Excellent,
is
thank you.
quantum hypnosis therapy you're talking about?
Yeah.
And that what was the woman that came up
Dolores
with that?
Cannon.
That's
Dolores.
it,
That's
Dolores
her.
Cannon. Yes. Just to frame it up, because not everybody will know it from the acronym. So yeah.
There's things that I was told that in hypnosis about some of my experiences that I just needed confirmation of what I was seeing. And so we just went from there to ask other questions. And I was specifically told under hypnosis not to share their secrets. But that doesn't mean that other people can't ask and get answers for themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. So hypnosis is a wonderful way to allow those deep state brain waves to happen, the delta and theta, and then you can practice having a linear mind thought, like the beta frequencies, at the same time with those more abstract frequencies going through your brain. So it's wonderful practice to even working up to not being in an altered state and seeing these things.
Yep.
So that's yet another avenue that we have available to us to cultivate our perceptions.
I thought your explanation of that earlier in the day was spectacular. I was like, oh, she nailed it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's funny. I talk to the Sasquatch, and a lot of times they just tell me, it's like, just talk. Just do your thing. That's what they'll tell me. And sometimes I feel, especially in the beginning of communicating in like the Sasquatch community, because everybody likes to channel, or not everybody, I'm sorry, that's an overgeneralization. I don't mean like that. It's a popular thing. And that's never appealed to me. I've never, you know what I mean? So I would sit there and think that something was wrong. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm not inclined to go in that direction or in this direction. And they're like, no, it's just fine. Just do what you do. That's why you're here. Just do you. And that was some of the biggest lessons ever. It's just, I needed to do me and not try to look like anything else. And it works. It just works. So I hope everybody can take away, their own flavor and really rock your own flavor because it's needed. It's so unique. That's why we want to hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd say if there's like maybe,
go ahead.
let's say there's a combination of 20 things that they can give us, like mind speak, channeling them and all that stuff. Everybody's got their own little mix that's specific to them and their strengths or whatever. Like I might share 3 with Shakara. I have like 8 and we share 3 kind of thing or whatever. But everyone has their own mix and it's specific to your strengths and how they want to, interact with you.
But what I learned is everybody, just like humans, everybody learns differently. Some people are kinetic and they learn with touch. Some are see symbolic things. Some people are more mental. Some people, you know, I learned this a lot when my daughter was growing up. There's a guy that wrote a book called Mel Levine, but she talked about a mind at a time, and each person has their own consciousness. And this is the problem with education, is that it gets watered down to, here's the spectrum. If you can't see or think in this way, you're a mess, and that you got to get back in there. And this is what's happening, especially with these star kids, especially with Jer and all these other kids, you know, that are already coming in awakened. They don't fit in that box, and there's a reason. And when you were mentioning about Dolores Cannon, what she does is, I understand it because I have some friends that do this. She gets people into a, I guess, what's the max state, theta state, and they kind of go beyond the brain level, you know, beyond the consciousness. So, but I want to share that it's possible to do right now in your own brain, in your own environment. You know, I go in and out of these states all the time where I'm completely conscious. You know, what Christina was saying, it's not channeling. It's like, I'm here, but right now, as we're talking, I'm seeing and feeling as if I'm having all these other experiences. It's possible to do all that. And what Brian was saying is all these higher senses is, as we ascend, as we open up, they're all there. They're just dormant, like dormant DNA. What I'm seeing is that we'll, you know, slowly open these things. You're going to see things. You're going to see shapes moving. I mean, the key that this is starting, what I found, is if you see ghosted shapes kind of coming in your peripheral, then you'll start to feel energies, but it's a smell. Some people, just like how we communicate with the Sasquatch, sometimes it's a smell. I will smell a spirit walking by. You know, sometimes I'll see it, hear it, but everybody, just like you said, Brian, is what I feel is everybody's attuned to it a little bit differently. So some people will hear, some people will see, some people do a lot of these things simultaneously, but they're in our field, you know, and as we raise these vibrations, we tune in. It's just a channel, you know.
Yeah. One thing with me that happens almost every day is when I'm talking truth that they really approve of, I get this energy nudge, this real loving, yes, yes, you're talking the talk or whatever, you know.
I get little taps, wood taps.
Yeah, energy nudge, whatever, yeah, wood tap.
Or a feeling or a pressure or a thought form.
Yeah, like, whatever. Some kind of energy confirmation, nudge or whatever.
For me, what happens is the light language becomes holographic. Like I can be talking to someone and start to see forms, shapes, figures, glyphs. I mean, sometimes it'll come from inside. Sometimes it's a thought form or a sound in my head where you think you're going crazy. You know, sometimes it's pushes. So this is why I ask people when I work with people, like, how does it happen for you? And then that's sort of the connecting point, I guess. It's hard to put into words, but there are all these different perceptual ways. But this is happening more and more because we're opening our senses that are already there. That's the thing, they're already there.
Yeah, that's what I call the truth compass. That's how you know, you just know it. It's whatever that feedback loop is that you know you just spoke something that had deep truth in many levels. Yeah, the truth compass. Absolutely. Yeah, for me, sometimes it's echo. It's like all of a sudden I'm surrounded by empty space. It'll be completely empty, like an echo chamber. And I'll be like, oh, that was important, whatever I just said. And then Lord forbid someone asks me to repeat it.
Yeah, it goes out. Because the memory, because you're not in 3D, the memory isn't concrete, but it's definitely in there. I honestly am seeing when people talk about what the new world looks like, this is happening now and people don't understand it. And so they go, oh, I didn't see that. So that happened more and more. And I think people are going to go a little cray cray, as my daughter says, you know? And so it's like, whoa, okay, I just saw like this thing appear in front of me. And this is where we come in. We're like, oh yeah, it's cool. You know, it's fine. It's just your buddies or whatever, you know.
I particularly connected with what Mike said earlier. I had my own personal experiences progressed in the same way he described, which just took my breath away. It was really incredible to hear somebody else have those experiences. And then I'm going to add another layer to this and see if anybody else has had this happen. My dog had a Sasquatch friend, and it was the most incredible thing. My dog would be playing with something that I couldn't see. And that Sasquatch, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, so I won't, but he played jokes on like the both of us. And then there's some that don't like the dogs so much. But it's been interesting. So I contacted an animal communicator that's local, who's very well known, and through him found that I had some pets that could see them and some that couldn't. And I thought that was really interesting, because I didn't tell the animal communicator what I was experiencing. I let him express what he saw through the animals. And so I've talked with a few people that are also experiencers, and this was a new approach. They're like, no, the animal communicator doesn't talk with the Sasquatch. I'm like, I know, but some animals seem to be able to see them and some not. And I'll just throw that out there. And I don't have all the answers, but I thought some of you might have something to add on this.
My little dogs used to know them. They used to bark at them with their tails wagging. And actually, my little Chihuahua that I just passed recently, they actually took him and played with him a couple times.
He's on your shoulder right now. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your picture. Yeah, he's on your shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah, they would take him away and play with him, and actually, I wasn't actually all that thrilled with that, because I was worried. Well, you don't see him for 2 hours, you could think, oh no, he's gone.
Oh yeah, especially a little guy like that in the forest. Yeah. I can possibly have an explanation about why some see it and some don't. And because what I've noticed in observation of pets is that they really take on the energy of their owner very strongly. And certain aspects are, some favor certain aspects over others. For example, my daughters, they have 4 cats, and each of the cats seem to absorb certain aspects of their energy of my daughter's energies, so I imagine, it depends on how much of their human they're absorbing, and that would contribute to their engagement in the world. I had a dog that was very, very friendly to everybody. And then I had a roommate come who had a lot of trauma around men. And my dog was very friendly with her. And eventually one day, someone that they knew came into the house that was a man, and my dog was not friendly to him anymore. So there's things like this that can possibly play a role in that. I'm guessing. I'm just sharing, a theory here, a hypothesis.
I think there's something to that, because the pets that could see the Sasquatch were ones that lived in I used to have like a little tiny home that were with me in that tight little space. And then my parents wanted one of my cats really bad, so I gave them that cat. And so that cat went to live with the other pets, and the other pets didn't seem to have any experience. It was just the one that lived with me, during some of those times. So
I think everyone is like people. Some people are more sensitive. There are people that can just feel everything. They're empathic spirits or energies or other people. And then there are some that maybe feel it, but it doesn't affect them so much. I think all animals are in tune with that vibration. It's like they're like in the 4th dimension, 5th dimension, but some don't really care. They go about their business. I think just because a dog doesn't turn and look at a being doesn't mean they're talking. They can be talking from their energetic body. This is what I've seen. But this is why the Egyptians loved cats, for example, because they were super psychic. They called them spies, or they would, they could see everything. They talk. But dogs, I'm living with 2 dogs. One could care less, and one is like watching everything. And, I think it's like people. I think they come in with different jobs. Sometimes I work with this dragon guardian. Sometimes they're guardians for the people or for that environment. It's like the same as the Sasquatch. Sometimes they're just helpers. Sometimes they're protectors. Sometimes they're seers for the person. This is what my experience has been, especially with animals. But they all see, just like kids. They may not tell you, but they are picking up everything, every single one of them. But they don't know how to talk about it. But when they come into an environment where they can trust people, just like dogs, they'll start talking about everything. This happens to me all the time when I'm around little kids. You think they're like not quite there, and then they come over and they'll just, I mean, they spontaneously start sharing like, oh yeah, did you see that guy? You know, they're not going to tell people that they don't feel safe with. I think it's the same with animals. It's less about safe, I guess that's not the right word. It's just in the environment, if that's their role or there's something that they need to communicate. Yes, that's even horses. I've had that same experience. That's just me.
Thank you.
There's a comment here that Lisa Marie wrote earlier, and then she had a question too that, so I just wanted to add that. And Lisa Marie, if you want to be added to this, let me know. But to go back to the topic of meditation, she says that as you meditate, tap into your heartbeats, envision the reverberating frequency, then tap into your breath, feel that reverberating frequency, and then hold in your consciousness Sasquatch, and then whoa, listen to the subtle frequencies that come up. Information will just come to you, and observe it through your heart space. And then she also recommends Christina's 3 keys. Yeah, the 3 keys that you offer and teach to people. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was a talk I did at the Sasquatch conference a couple of years ago.
Yes.
3 keys to accelerating your perceptions. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, that's a huge piece, listening to the heartbeat.
And she has another question here that said, I had a vision of a planet, a black space, and I was on top of it, looking up at what looked like a biodome. At the 11 and 12 o'clock space, spanning the enclosed circle like a clock, were bright lights appearing to be spaceships. And so she wants to know if this vision has anything to do with first contact and or the ascension narrative. So I'll just give my input here since I just read it. It sounds to me like it is. I mean, I've had a lot of different dreams, and they can be interpreted in different ways. Certainly I would think involving a planet, looking up at space at a biodome and seeing, lights like a spaceship, that would definitely be some insight into, these other realms, and that, it was the star elders, or maybe you were actually on another planet in your dream time or something like that. So a lot of these experiences are real. It's not just our dream time or a vision, but it's a place that our consciousness is able to go to. The Sasquatch talk about bi-location or multi-location. And so, Lisa, I don't know if you were asleep during this vision or not, but it really wouldn't matter. That's another one of these brainwave states. It's another level of consciousness, another density, and we exist on all of these different levels at once. So even you being here in the 3D, having that vision, it was very much real. Whether it's regarding ascension or not, or ascending, I should say, that's really up for your interpretation. But I know that dreams or visions and things that we have when we're looking to kind of, especially dreams, if we're looking to interpret some strange symbolism, or, like what in the world does that mean kind of thing, the best place to look is at your feelings and your emotions and how you felt about that dream or that vision, because that's really where the answers lie. It's more in your feelings. What did that do to your heart space? What did it bring up for you and your feelings and your emotions? And that's what it means for you.
That's good.
Yeah, we do a lot of dream tracking, and it's Kelly hit it right on the head. It's the feeling. The thing is that if we could just with that kind of focus and depth of attention, we would. So a lot of times it helps to have a group of people holding the space to help you dive that much deeper into the feeling. I had a sense that when in the sharing of that is also, Kelly touched on it, is that you're in a place of multi-locational kind of an experience, and there's a mass, actually, now I'm talking about, it's a massive download coming from your high heart, sister. So, if you want to maybe get a group of beloveds together to help you sink into the feeling more, you can dig up that transmission for not only for yourself, but for everybody that's sharing the space, holding the space for the group.
Yeah, I just want to add also, it's a multi-dimensional experience. So it could be you having a dream while there's an aspect of you in a higher dimension actually on that planet. Well, while you're calling in the connection to the star people, while you're actually one of the star people on the ship. This is what's really interesting. This is a total paradigm shift of what we think in terms of time and space. It is all happening simultaneously, which is really, really hard for me to wrap my head around. So, but what I also want to mention is this narrative of, all these documents are coming out about ETs and blah, blah, blah. And I think there are going to be a lot of false flags, I don't really get into that thing, but you're going to see things that may or may not be real. And you have to ask yourself, how does that feel? I think it's really, really important. In the same way with energies, they're putting projections. I mean, this is very real stuff. It's not scary stuff. It's just what's being played out right now. But some thought forms are not your own. And some, they're playing with technology and things that they will show in media, even as an image, that when they put it out in the field, it becomes real for people. So I asked myself, and I talked to my people about this, doesn't really matter. It's, nothing can hurt you if you don't allow things to disturb your vibration, but it's an interesting thing to look at. But I think that we are all going on ships. We're simultaneously bopping around planets in dream time. I mean, I'm not getting any sleep. I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing so much work and travel and languages and shifting and meeting, it's happening for all of us. And this is coming, but it's already here. So I guess what I want to say is, when we talk about truth, ask yourself, like you do a muscle test, there's different ways to say, does this feel right? But Dolores Cannon, I don't know why she just popped in. Okay, she talks a lot about background people. In some of her videos, she'll talk about, the people that are right in your physical realm are actually real beings you're interacting with. But like, you could be walking through a city and everything else that's like 20 feet farther out may not even be real. It's a construct that your mind creates, or, I don't want to get too whacked out about this, but it's really interesting to start thinking about reality this way. So you're creating that. So you're creating that ship, but it's actually maybe real in another dimension. It's a lot of things, but I think it's really important. What I'm being told is that people get real solid with their, like Brian was talking about, like feeling their frequencies and stuff. So, it's like when you go in a room, if you're sensitive, you're going to see somebody's just having a bad day and is kind of in a funk, but there's somebody else that's like really carrying heavy energy that's, pulling stuff. Yeah. You got to be able to read that field and say, okay, I want to go over and help this person, or I don't really need to be around this environment. I want to go around somebody that's more positive. It's just about reading energy, because it's all energy.
Yeah, that's what the Sasquatch, one of the big lessons for me is energy is the universal language. So when when you learn to read it, it can't lie. So you will know. Can't lie. It's when you understand it. Yeah. If it's, just by feeling it, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm. That's how we're going to know what to do next, even each one of these steps.
Right.
Yeah. I had a dream, though. It's pretty funny, that I was running around telling, I was running to go get to some friends of mine to tell them that don't worry about all this stuff happening because it's a fake alien invasion. And I was like so excited to be telling them it was a fake alien invasion. And they said, but people are dying. And I'm like, well, yeah, they really are dying, but it's a fake alien invasion. So just to because I was in my dream concerned about people not having their truth compass on. It's like, even though things are impacting us in 3D, really what's impacting us is not what we're being told that's making the impact. Does this make sense? So that truth compass is massive, because you can see through any holographic programming. You can see through any of that kind of stuff. As long as that's truth compass, you've really cultivated that relationship.
Yeah, I'm having all kinds of dreams lately, but they're really stupid. Well, except for that Sasquatch one, and I had one about apocalypse or something too. But most of them are stupid, like playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs and
Playing
in the NHL, stuff like that. What?
Yeah. Playing Tron.
Playing Tron.
No. I know you guys don't know what the NHL is. I was playing for my favorite hockey team.
Yeah,
we do. As a hockey player, and I was talking to my, talking to some of the players, and it was just stupid stuff, like doesn't make any sense.
Well, what I'm finding is that we're doing more and more lucid dreaming, and there's exercise, just like Christian was talking about meditation. There's ways that you can start to become more aware of your dreams even before you go to sleep, and when you become conscious in your dream, which is what's starting to happen to me, these things start happening, and you realize you're creating the story. And then you can start to shift it. So you keep going down this dark alley. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go over here to the beach. Then that starts happening, and that's what's happening in reality. It's a really interesting thing going on in our dream time.
But one thing I will say is that I went years like I couldn't remember dreams. Now I'm remembering dreams like all the time. Some of them are dumb, like I said, but I'm just remembering all the time.
They're not dumb.
Every night
They're not dumb. They
It's
have
just
some
another
reality.
Yeah, the surface story is silly. There's always way more depth underneath, for sure. You're remembering those for a reason.
Yeah.
But to get back to what Shakara was talking about with the lucid dreaming, this is really important because there is a lot of subliminal, subconscious programming in the way of these frequencies, and they are in the form of, usually will show up in darkness or whatever. And once you can purposely steer away from that and go to another aspect of the dreamscape, you know what I mean? That programming no longer has that hold on you on a subconscious level. So you quite literally transcend the control system that program was doing. Just an example of that kind of thing. So when you are able to go to specific dreamscapes and connect with your own infinite nature, then you're getting direct creation codes by basking in the let's say the light of creator, which is you. And then you take that right into the waking world as you do the act of recalling the dream, whether through the squiggly or writing or interpretive dance or whatever. So it's a really powerful practice once you get to master it. Absolutely. We can change all of this, just this handful of people, we can change the entire landscape of this planet by reclaiming our dream time.
This is what's so fascinating to me about creation and creativity, is you are the architect of your life. We don't realize that. We're not told that. We're talked out of it. It's all, what I find is really happening now for most people is the programming is breaking down, whatever that means for people. We think we're getting out of the box, and then you realize there is no box. There's all of this stuff was stuff that was taught to us, what I'm shown, by forces that want to utilize our energy, but we don't need to allow that to happen anymore. But it's really re-architecting. So you're the, many people have said you're the director, you're the actor, you're the props, you're the costume director, costume designer. And it's really true when you start experiencing life. And I will say I've been doing this a lot lately, living probably in the last 2 years. It's like you just change your thought form and something else changes. So when, we're talking about with our Sasquatch friends, you just allow it to be, and it is there. You just start to see them. It's very natural. It's a very natural state. But I think this is what I think that we're seeing breaking down in a society right now is like these other constructs that have told us we can't do these things. It's all a control system, but each and every human being has this ability right now. I really believe this.
Yeah.
I want to talk
so big on boxes and stepping us out of your box of beliefs where the real, nobody learns anything inside of their box of beliefs, right?
I want to talk about the sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Well, that's fine.
The Awakening Society, I've taught junior college for 9 years now. And 9 years ago when I began, I'd ask at the class of 60 students, raise your hand, how many believe in ETs, we're not alone, 25%. How many believe in Sasquatch, 10%. It's now gone to how many believe in ETs, close to 70%. And how many believe in Sasquatch? I'm getting probably 35 to 50% of the students raising their hands now.
Oh, yeah.
So we definitely have a much more awakening in society because I've been judging it. And of course, I introduce it to them. I tell them I saw a Sasquatch. So I'm kind of like awakening more and more as I'm talking to them physically in the classroom.
You're making it normal for them.
I'm making it normal.
And I think this is,
they know me and that I'm the weird teacher, the hippie teacher, but because of my high knowledge base, that they respect me because I've come up with a lot of other truths that have been validated later on down the road.
But you make them feel safe to be able to explore these things. And I think this is the biggest issue. A lot of people say, why, I don't want to get into this, but like what's going on in the world right now and why are people not seeing certain things happening? Why do people have certain limited perspectives of things, or why can't they see this stuff? It's because they've been dummied down. They've allowed this stuff to happen. And, I personally had a mother who just, I said, I see an Arcturian in the corner, and she'd go, paint it, and other people are like, you're crazy, it's the devil, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, it all depends if you have a supportive environment. But what you're doing, Rita, because I know you, is you are creating a safe space for them to actually explore this and feel okay about it. And then it actually, they start talking to you more about it.
Okay, Kelly, one of my students wanted to look up the conference that she may be attending in June, because she specifically asked me which one I go to. She found 5 of them online.
Oh,
and I showed her your specific one. She said, I want to go to the one that you go to, Miss Shertick.
oh, excellent. Well, here, just for anybody that's unaware of it, I have a flyer right next to me. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the Sasquatch Family Reunion. It's going to be at a new location this year, very close to where it's been the last 2 years at a campground, except this time we have the added bonus of having electricity. Yay.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Oh, God.
And showers.
And water. Woohoo.
Yes.
Post the link or put the link in the chat so people can share the link with people,
Yes.
or invite folks to come with them. I know we're more likely to go if we have a friend to come along, to share with the camping gear and all that good stuff. So
camu said it's a go.
Rita. Rita.
Yes.
I just wanted to comment on what you're doing with your students. My first experience with like the feeling of being watched was when I was a teenager, and there was nobody I could tell. I didn't tell anybody that, and I just told my parents I wasn't gonna walk home in the woods at night anymore. But it was my high school science teacher that engaged me in a conversation about out-of-body experiences. And then I went home and tried it, and I had an out-of-body experience. And I thought, thank God for that teacher. I never had even had any kind of words for what the experience was. Anyways, thank you. I'm sure it's not received by everybody, but there'll always be that one kid, that it makes a world of difference to.
Yep.
I think even the ones that don't believe you, though, are looking at you like, geez, I could talk to Rita about anything and not feel like weird,
I've gotten lots of comments from students. One student walked up to me and said, Mrs. Shertick, I astral project regularly. What do you know about astral projection? And I was like, I had a discussion with her about it because she said I was the only one that would understand her talking about it.
These star kids, these younger people, and I'm really talking about like 30 on down. It's not just the little kids, but 20s and 30s and 10s, 20s, 30s. They can see your light. They can see what feels good. I mean, I'll go to a grocery store and I'll just be standing there, and these little kids that never leave their parents walk up to me, and they just, you know, they feel it, or they will actually say stuff and they're like, my kid never does that or something. I'm not saying I'm, you know, it's me. It's just, they feel safe, but they're called to people that they want to talk so desperately. And this is why it's important to just kind of be open with them.
Yeah, I've had similar things happen with young ones, or that you just there's just an instant recognition that happens. Yeah.
They smile and they'll be like,
Yeah.
you know, Jared does that all the time. I mean, he's so in tune.
I wanted to ask you ladies if you have this experience, that this is one of the main things that the Sasquatch do with me, is like, I am drawn to go somewhere, or sometimes I don't even, not aware of it, but I go someplace and there's somebody there that just had an experience with Sasquatch or something, or they're constantly, or they're thinking about them, and I was just thinking about that. And I started talking about constantly taking me to people that you know, are open to learning. And then, do you guys experience that? Like, it's just like all the time, almost daily. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian, I have
we all have that.
Real quick,
Brian,
I was just gonna tell a fun little story.
I overhear people say, drop in the word Sasquatch all the time. And it's like, what? Yeah. Yeah.
When we were traveling through Wyoming, we were, you know, in an RV for, I don't know, however many months we were doing that. And we were in this small town, Wyoming. And I just spontaneously kind of wanted to go out and walk by the river. And there's a guy and the gal kind of chatting. Anyway, they came over, or the guy comes over kind of drunk to come talk to us. He wanted to know who we were and what we were doing. And I don't know, just I don't really like share a lot right up front. I mean, especially with strangers, I kind of like, I'm one full of questions. I want to get to know you more than really share. But anyway, he asked us where we're going, and something just told me to tell him about Sasquatch. I'm like, we're on our way to the Sasquatch conference. And he's like, oh, now that's cool. And he's like, real thick Texan accent. And he's like, I got a Sasquatch story for you. And his wife just like gets up and she's like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to listen to it. And he tells me his Sasquatch story. And I was like, that is an awesome story. And he's just like, you're blowing me away, man. You don't even think I'm crazy. You know? And I'm like, no, I'm on my way to a Sasquatch conference. So you should come share your story.
Can I give you a short and sweet example of what I'm talking about? But this happens all the time. Like, this is weird. Not weird, it's beautiful. So I'm just drawn to go to the woods. I just say, I got to go to the woods. So I meet this security guard there that's at the gate. It's closed off. He's letting movie guys in and out. And I just start talking to him, and I get this energy like they want me to talk to him, right? And so he didn't even know what Sasquatch was. But then I said, well, Bigfoot. And he didn't know what that was. And then he said, that's weird, because just before you got here, I heard something big tromping around, like stepping on bipedal in the woods just behind us, right? Well, after that, they were all around us. He could hear them walking all around us. And actually, one of my females in my clan sat in his car with him the entire night. And he couldn't see her, but he could smell her perfume and stuff, right? And which is exactly the way that I describe it. So I knew who it was, and he said he had a feeling of peace and calm and just, you know, so that happens to me all the time, and it's just such a like an honor, you know what I mean? Like, just it's like we're being guided to do our work in our own special ways, right?
Absolutely.
I find a lot of times our guides will, sorry, Rita, is they'll they're a precursor, like they'll go there to set up the arrangement. So we know we're all on this conversation because we're all connected, we're all being guided here, but they'll kind of plant the seed, you know, for the conversation to happen, or plant. I mean, all of you know, they can put, just like all-star people, they can put a thought form in there and then remove it, and you think that you've never thought it, but it goes the other way around. I think they can put ideas in that will energetically, like many times, you know, I'll run into somebody and I'll be like, why are we having this conversation? It's like almost like, why is this even coming up? Like talking about some distant place we were 20 years ago or something. But there's always connections. And I think that's actually our That's our higher self too. It's a
I've even
combination.
seen it involve 3 or 4 people where they've all been brought together
Oh yeah.
and they were all
Always.
manipulated and to bring them together to have a special conversation. And I'm
Yeah.
getting that energy right now, like crazy
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
So
There's no
you know, it's just
coincidence. No coincidence. in the
no
universe.
coincidence.
All
So
this is
okay,
architected.
Casey,
Yeah, and
Kara,
not just Sasquatch, the Pleiadians and other star people do that
yeah.
too.
Oh, huge.
They'll
For me,
plant
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
so can I ask Shakara?
Mhm.
Now you said we're all connected, so spill the beans. Are you talking about like we're all connected, like the big everybody, or like this specific group?
Everything. So,
Everything.
okay, so we are, here's what I'm shown. We come from source, which is God,
Yeah.
spirit, energy, creation. We break out into sort of fractal parts so that each one of us can have different experiences, different cultures, different lifetimes, different entities, different beings. So you're over there, I'm over here, but I don't really exist. You're creating me, I'm creating you, we're creating Rita, Rita's creating Kelly, you know, vice versa. But we're all connected. So there's this really interesting thing that I'm being shown that I'm actually writing about now. That's a combination of everything. Source is in everything. Everything is source. This is why when you go out and you know, you feel passionate about a tree, you're connecting with that. When Kelly was reading her poetry, she got this wave of emotion. It's because she can feel that feeling as if it's, I mean, this is what I was feeling. It's a being, but it's also her expression, but it's also an energetic form. So bottom line, I think, yes, we are definitely all connected. This is what I learned a lot from my guides and the chief. All your guides are connected to you. You know, he talked, I think he did on your show even, you know, the seven aspects of us. We have a grandfather, grandmother, higher self, lower self in the earth. There's a Holy Mother, Holy Father, and us. These are aspects. What he really taught me deeply was these are aspects of us. There's just other forms of us. But we as a group are connected. And then we go out, but we're connected. I'm connected to the physical place where I am. You know, so there's all these different forms of connections, just like you would have a name like a father, son, brother, friend, you know, guy, friend, whatever. You know, it's just things. But yes, I do believe that everything is intrinsically connected. And then when you look at, this is what it's so difficult, what I find for people that I speak with to understand is, well, why is there dark and light? Why is there good and bad? And it's all part of it. It's all part of it. You need one to see the other. You know, I need a you out there to understand something about myself. You know, everything that everybody has said in this talk today is something that I've thought or I was feeling or I needed to hear or something like that. It's like, you know, we're all picking up pieces from each other, but this is where you go, wow, everything is in me and I'm in everything. So yes, but we are having a separation experience so that we can experience this world, so we can see something, but really it's all one. I really, really believe this.
Yeah. Well, I know that, but you're talking on this group level and also the big level, right?
Both simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to throw in the whole idea about nesting dolls when describing the interconnectedness. That's because it's layers. Yeah, it's layers. So it's kind of too abstract for people to go from their individuation and who they look at in the mirror to we're all connected and we're all one. It's a truth, but it's kind of like if these other nesting dolls aren't worked out, it's not something that's a living truth yet inside. It's like you have to wake up to these other nesting dolls of who you are, so you can let go of the idea of who you are in order to actually experience the truth of that interconnectedness. You know, like that.
I think another thing is that like the people who are representing Sasquatch ambassadors or however you want to call them, generally they seem to have a past life as a Sasquatch, like they're connecting back with their people. And I think that would be, you know, with Star Nations, racism, whatever too. There's definitely something to that.
Can I just share something? So this chief said we're all connected with everything. You know, Chief Golden Lady taught often to me and many people, it's not just me, but what he said, we had very active dialogues about this, that we're all seeded from all these star systems. It's not just the prime 3 or whoever. I mean, we have it all in us. I think this is why humans are so, shut down, shall I say, because there's every opportunity in the universe inside of us, all these star systems, but somebody has a little bit more. You may have more Pleiadian, I have Arcturian, somebody's more Sasquatch or whatever, but I think they're all connected, and we're awakening that in each other. But there's definitely lineages of experiences, but there's a connection between everybody. This is why, we can speak a similar language, and it's starting to open up more.
Yeah, little connections.
Yeah.
And big connections.
Yep.
Can anybody share names for Sasquatch groups around the world other than from America? Like Sasquatch is used in North America.
You talking about the name of the Sasquatch?
Yeah, in Australia, that's Yowies or
Yowie.
Dooligas.
Or Doolaga as well in Australia.
Is there any common names?
Skunk ape is in Florida. The Yeren is in China. What else is there?
Yeti.
The Yeti, of course, in Russia, Siberia. They also call him the snowman there too. There's so many different names. Sunbo actually wrote a book called Hairy Humanoids from the Wild. And that book is excellent. It's an encyclopedia of everything Sasquatch that you can think of. From every aspect, the Native American aspect, the spiritual, everything that you can think of it. And also, of course, people's encounters and things like that. I think Christian's going to go grab it. And it's a really big book, but it's excellent. And he does name many of those different types of Sasquatch. Yeah, here it is. Hairy humanoids from the wild.
Yeah, each indigenous culture has their own experience with it, and they have their own name. Lakota, it's Shiatanka. Anishinaabe has a different one. Our Aboriginals, I mean, they all are connected. Even Celtic, ancient Celtic.
Yeah, Anishinaabe called them the Sabe. That's the song that we sang earlier, Sabe. But then there's, different cultures, or even just like little communities. Sometimes a town had a sighting, and so they call it by this name or something like that. So there's really probably hundreds of thousands of names that they use to call these hairy people. They call themselves the people.
Hanuma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Venara. Yeah.
The name Sasquatch actually originated right here in BC, right where I live, within just by the Chehalis.
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Sasquatch. The name was actually Sasquatch or Sasquatch
or however you
Sasquatch.
But just
the
right.
Zuni actually have that. I mean, many tribes have different derivatives of the name. Sasquatch, Sasquatch,
Oh boy, my thingy keeps blinking out. I'm gonna run out of juice on my iPad soon.
Well, I guess it's about time to wrap it up. So anybody that would like to say some final words, final prayer, I just really want to thank you all for being here today. This has been amazing. And the first symposium that I've hosted, I think it went really well, and there's probably going to be more in the future now that I know I can pull it off, and that people show up and you want to be here and you want to learn and you want to share. And so that's wonderful and amazing. And I couldn't think of a better way for us all to spend our 2022.
Yeah, thank you. It was great. It was really great connecting with everybody again.
It was really fun, and I really want to say it was inspiring just to hear that other people are still in the world. They're growing, they're learning. I learned so much from each one of you, but I've been missing. I'm completely isolated right now in my own little work bubble and on the land, and it's just I love you guys. I mean, I really love you guys. Hale, dude, I miss you.
I know.
Yeah, and Kelly, thank you, and Christian and everybody. Rita, it's so great to see you. Christina, Sunbo, Clifford.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and all the ones in the unseen, absolutely. Yes.
Everybody in the audience
The
too.
star
It would take a
people.
while to name you all, but we can see you all there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And for anybody in the audience, the secret to connecting with the number one secret is the heart.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen, brother.
It's the heart.
Hey, women and men.
And hugs heal hearts.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. I love you guys.
Love you.
Yes.
Bless.
So lovely to connect with all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you guys next magical moment. We'll see you then.
Happy Portal Day. Keep it open.
Thank you.